It is time once again to go to CEX Washington galleries, and today I'm on the hunt for Nintendo Switch games and I think a few N64 titles. First up we had this Darksiders Genesis. Now Darksiders was a game that I really liked on the Wii U, and I was hoping to pick up some more on the Nintendo Switch. Langrisser. Now this is a title that I haven't seen a lot of over the last few years. I seem to go really expensive all of a sudden, but I'm not really 100% sure. Hyrule Warriors, another fantastic game for the Nintendo Switch, but today they seem to have a wealth of JRPGs or anime-based games, at least in my opinion. I do kind of want to check out that Professor Layton. It ran under the radar compared to like the main Professor Layton ones on the DS and the 3DS, but yeah, it's one that I do need to pick up. I did leave that Harvest Moon, the Story of Seasons once again. Kind of wish I picked it up now. Pokemon, there are so many Pokemon different variants, I do need to pick them up. It's not a franchise that I love playing them, but I just don't feel like I'd ever want to pick up the alternative version. So I have Sword, don't really want Shield, but I kind of think I am going to look at picking up a few of them in the near future. Now, I did pick up that Yooka-Laylee game just because it was something a little bit different that I don't normally see. Retro, we're kind of on the little bit of a... yeah, it's not too great selection. It is what it is. They've got loads of those PSP, PS1 minis though, haven't they? And Game Boy selection seems to be quite healthy at this point as well. There's not really anything I'm kind of after. I kind of keep looking at Game Boy games and thinking, oh well, I'd like to get the boxed version, but then I kind of really keep kind of thinking, it's like, will I get the boxed version? GameCube games, I don't know. Pikmin I do need to pick up because I have chucked out the box for that one. That is one that is on my list. Lost Kingdom as well. I keep seeing this one, but I just don't pick it up. I think the box is just like a little bit torn, a little bit not great quality for what I'm kind of wanting to pay. This is my problem with a lot of these where it's like, might be £18 for a box. If I'm going to pay £18 for a box GameCube game, it's going to have a decent box. It's not going to have rips or tears or be smashed up. PlayStation 5, I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking for at this point. I am missing stuff like Ratchet and Clank, God of War and stuff like that, Horizon, but I just can't justify the prices. PlayStation has always been a cheap console, and I don't know, anything over £20, I'm a little bit more, unless it's a game I really want to play, I'm just not interested in buying them. Unless it's something that is harder to find, but let's face it, God of War, Ratchet and Clank will always be fairly cheap. I always love a good rummage in CEX, and if I'm going to be honest, Washington CEX, it has been a really bit of a gold mine as of late. That's where I bought Doom all those weeks ago, and this week, well, not so great on retro games, but I got a Switch Grail. Now, as you guys probably saw, Washington had a fair few Nintendo Switch games, and I did pick one up that I've been after for quite some time. Along with that, I did have a little bit of a hunt around the shops and I found a few other games. So let's talk about the CEX one first. First title is the Jewel of the Bunch. Langrisser I and II. Now, this has been a title that has been on my to pick up list for quite some time. As you guys are very well aware, I'm trying to collect Nintendo Switch, but I'm trying to get a fantastic collection. A collection where people can walk through in, have a look on the shelves and just be able to pick something. Pick something. There's going to be something on the shelf, something in the collection for everybody. And this is one that I think is getting a lot of love from JRPG and especially strategy RPG fanatics. Langrisser I and II is, well, it is your turn-based strategy, you know the one, Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy Tactics, Disgaea, where you're on a grid and you pick your character and that character goes to the other place and then waits their turn and then people come towards it, you know, is warfare on a bit of a scale. And yeah, this one is it's fun. It's basic, it does its job. It kind of expects you to have already played some of the strategy RPG games before. Especially with the first one, I was playing it and it was kind of very basic. It didn't really tell me what I was supposed to be doing. It just kind of gave us a little scenario, a little introduction between the characters, and then you are off. And if I'm honest, I had a pretty fun time with it, but its basicness, it didn't keep me glued. But it is one that has been all over in terms of price. It's one that I feel like I've seen to be expensive. Now, I have a spreadsheet of the games I want to collect, and this one was on my list for about £80, yet was £38 in CEX, which leads me to believe that this title actually has had a reprint in recent history, which is absolutely fine. That is great for people like me who want to pick up some of these games without having to jump through hoops or having to pay scalper prices for limited run titles. And you know what? While the game didn't initially grab me, I am going to stick with it and try my best to at least finish one of the two games. If you played it, let me know which one's the better one, 1 or 2. Can I play 2 without playing all the way through 1 or not? But yeah, it's one I'm looking forward to trying out a little bit more, get my head around it. I'm sure because of the price, because of how much people love this one, it's going to be worth my time. The next title is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. Now, this is a sequel to Yooka-Laylee. It's not the same game. I'm sure the one that you guys are already thinking of is the Banjo-Kazooie type spiritual successor, Yooka-Laylee, that released a few years ago, and I didn't even realise this one even came out. I'm going to be honest, this came and went. And it was cheap. This one is a bit more like Donkey Kong Country Returns, which is great because I know a lot of people would not touch Bonanza, because Bonanza is a bit more like your Donkey Kong 64, your Banjo-Kazooie, your Mario Galaxy, your Mario Odyssey, whereas this is more of a love letter to the side-scrolling one that we saw in Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze and all of the other Donkey Kong games that I am not going to go through. And it's fun. I had a decent time with it. I haven't really gotten too into it, but it's one that I have been enjoying my time with. And I think if you are sick of Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze and you want another one for the Nintendo Switch, you can do a lot worse than this. You certainly can. This one was definitely worth picking up. After I went to CEX, I had a wander around and I went to Argos, because Argos are pretty decent when it comes to Switch deals. And there was a bit of a deal that they had on, which was 2 for £20. Now, it was a bit of an awkward one because originally I wanted Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares 2, and yeah, Argos was selling that. The picture on the box was Little Nightmares 2, but didn't see a download code. And the problem is nearly all of the releases Argos have are download code onlys. So I picked up the 2 actual physical ones. No More Heroes 3 and Train Valley Collection. Now, Train Valley Collection does actually have a collector's edition which comes with a little train set, which is pretty darn cool. And I'm going to be honest, these titles aren't going to be for everybody. Now, No More Heroes 3 is the 3rd in the No More Heroes, well, 4th, because I know there was a Travis Strikes Again one. And it's a franchise that I've never touched. I've never played them on the Wii. I've never played them on the Switch re-releases. And you know what? There was one that a lot of people have really hyped up. So I thought I'd try and pick it up before it gets expensive. It's dirt cheap at the moment, but I think in the near future, I think once these ones sell out, I think it's going to be one that's going to be fairly expensive. It's getting a lot of good responses, a lot of good press, but I think it's going to be one that's going to be harder to find. And once I do eventually find a copy of 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, sorry, I'm going to want to have the 3rd along with Travis Strikes Again in my collection. So yeah, this is definitely a collection piece. Not necessarily something I'm going to play immediately, but one that I think in the future I'd be glad I picked up. The other one is Train Valley Collection. Now, I am collecting a bit of a subset in terms of strategy simulation games, and I like trains. Well, I mean, it's one of those ones, it's kind of like, this was so cheap, and I was kind of like, you know what, I've played this on the PC, and it is a fun little game. Nothing too special, but it's one that I got my time out of it. And you know what, I was like, 2 for 20 quid, 10 quid for this, 5 quid per game. Yep, I am definitely 100% going to pick this one up, and it's okay. If I'm honest, it's a bit the problem is that they've kind of ported it from PCs, but they've never really made the effort to change up the controls enough to make it more worthwhile on the Switch, and that's its biggest problem for me. It's a fine enough game. It's one of those ones where you connect the stations and then the trains come out, and then you kind of have to avoid them crashing and what have you, and then the more you can do, connect up and what have you, it makes it all fast. I prefer the simulation ones, you know, like A-Train or City Skylines or Transport Fever, or, you know, the ones with Transport Tycoon, them type of ones where there's a bit more of a world that kind of grows around you. But this one, a little puzzle game, I've had a good enough time with it. 1 is better than 2, surprisingly, and the only reason being is 1 feels like they made more of an effort to get on this working on the Switch than they did with 2, which is a bit of a shame. But you know what, 5 quid each for a physical game, I ain't gonna complain. This is more than, I paid more than enough of this to warrant the purchase alone. Now, on the way home, I thought I'd pop into Smith's because a game I wanted a few weeks ago, which was £10, was out of stock. It went up to £20 once it went in stock, so I left it. But now it's went back to 15, and World of Goo 2 is finally in my Switch collection. Now, this is an interesting one because I genuinely feel like World of Goo should have been bundled with World of Goo 1. 1 and 2 should have came in the same box. Now, I'm very much aware that I think it's super rare games have number 1, but I don't know, for me, I don't see any real valid reason of why they couldn't have just bundled them both in. We've seen stuff in the past where it's been one of these limited run games, and we've later getting them as a bundle or whatever. But yeah, umbrage aside, this is a fun game. This is a really fun game. Now, this is one of your bridge building games, you know, the ones that used to go around years ago on mobile phones where you build the little bridges and a little car's got to drive across. Well, in this one, World of Goo, well, it's made out of goo. So, of course, you have all of the physics. Nothing's going to stand up. It's really fun. It's really mind-boggling. And I've sank about 10 hours into this one since picking it up. And it's difficult. It's incredibly difficult. I spent one night, I was up till about 12 o'clock when I was on holiday, and I was just like, yeah, this is driving us mad. And then I picked it up downtime the next day and did it straight away. It's one of those games, the more you stare at it, the more difficult it gets, but I'm having a good time with it. It's one of those ones I'm going to pick up time and time again and try and just get my way through it. I was trying to do all of there's really difficult challenges, and I was trying to get through them. Wasn't working, so I just thought I'd just try and complete them. There's no platinum on this, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, once I tried to do that, I had a lot more fun. A lot more fun indeed. But yeah, I'm really happy I picked this one up. I've had a really good time. It's not actually the game I thought it was. I've got a memory of a game, and I thought it was World of Goo, where basically you're playing as goo or some kind of liquid, and you basically I want to say it was on the PlayStation Vita. I would say the Wii or the PlayStation Vita, because I remember it had motion controls. So it was kind of like you went like that, and then the kind of the goo or the water kind of went ooh, and then you went like that, oh, and then kind of you had to control it kind of like that. And I thought that was World of Goo, but it wasn't. So I'm now having to try and figure out what the game is, and if there's a modern day equivalent. I want to say it was on the Vita. I want to say it was on the Vita or the Wii. And it was that kind of time frame. It wasn't DS, because I don't remember having a I definitely remember sitting there going like that. But yeah, you're having like goo or liquid, and you're having to control it and get it to somewhere, and obviously eventually like you lost bits of it or it got like absorbed in. But it kept doing twists and turns to kind of do it. That's the game I'm after. If you guys know which game it is I'm talking about, let me know. So that's what I've been picking up. I know it's a very Switch heavy video, but hey, I'm just going to pick up what I pick up. There are plenty of other videos in which I've went to CEX and discovered plenty more retro games, and I'm hoping to get back to that. I'm collecting N64, I'm collecting Game Boy, I'm collecting Game Boy Advance, I'm collecting GameCube. So, I know it's all Nintendo focused. We'll talk about PlayStation soon, but yeah, what have you guys been picking up? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.